we have been discussing various different types of asexual methods. Here asexual method of reproduction involves a single organism. So we are learning under the heading reproduction used by single organisms. See, single means it is not considered as either female or male species. Here a single organism will going to reproduce without the fusion of gametes. Here we learned the binary fission or the multiple fission which we saw in amoeba and plasmodium. So here the second method of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Here fragmentation is seen in certain organisms like algae. See, algae like Spirogyra. So where do you find this algae? So in the pond water. Usually the pond water there will be floating of green layer. So you take some of the filaments of those greenish patches which is floating on the water and take one or two filaments from that water and observe under the microscope. You have to take a needle and squeeze those filaments. Then under the microscope you can observe some of the tissues. So these tissues are arranged in a filamental form. So many cells will be joined together to make a filamental form. So when these filaments get segregated, so each filament somehow it breaks and develops into a new filament. So like this algae like Spirogyra undergoes a simple method of reproduction, so that is fragmentation. Here this Spirogyra is a simple multicellular organism where we can see a set of cells in those filaments. So the reproduction method is not as simple as we find in a amoeba or in plasmodium. Here in amoeba or plasmodium reproduction takes place cell by cell, but it is not true for these multicellular organisms. They cannot divide cell by cell. So many multicellular organisms, as we have seen, are not simply a random collection of cells. Some specialized cells will be there in these filaments. So when we see this Spirogyra, some specialized cells will be there in between the cells. So that cell undergoes specialization which later undergoes the reproduction. So upon full maturation, some specialized cells they develop into new filaments. So multicellular organisms like Spirogyra therefore need to use more complex ways of reproduction. So as we are seeing now, in another method of reproduction, that is regeneration. So regeneration is seen in certain organisms like planaria. And this is also seen in organisms like Hydra. See, this planaria is a flatworm. So platyhelminths is the group of invertebrates where one example like planaria is seen. Here somehow the body of this planaria is cut into many pieces. So accidentally when this body is cut into small pieces, so each part of this planaria grows into new species. Again here, what is the reason for that single piece of the body part which is developing into a new organism? Here also some specialized cells will be there in those set of cells, so where those specialized cells proliferate and develop into a new organism. So this organized sequence is referred to as the development. So so many changes takes place in that piece of the body which gets segregated, and these changes takes place in an organized sequence, so which is referred to as development. However, this regeneration is not true for all the organisms. Regeneration is not the same as reproduction, since most organisms would not normally depend on being cut up to be able to reproduce. So budding is another type of asexual reproduction. So the organism here you are seeing belongs to the group Coelenterata. So the example is Hydra. So you can also see another example, that is yeast. So it belongs to the kingdom fungi. So yeast is a single celled organism. So in organisms like these, so this is a multicellular organism, yeast is a unicellular organism. So in Hydra, so there are some specialized cells. Here a tissue level of gradation is seen. Here upon full maturation, the body develops a bud. So this bud, it takes all the nutrients from its mother's body and develops into a new organism. So organisms such as Hydra use regenerative cells for reproduction in the process called budding. So in Hydra, a bud develops as an outgrowth at one specific site. So these buds develop into tiny individuals, and when fully mature, detach from the parental body and become new independent individuals. Here the buds detach from the parental organism and develops into new individual. So same like Hydra, so in yeast also a bud gets developed and it takes all the nutrition from the mother's cell and it gets detached from the parental body and it develops into a new cell. Another interesting type of asexual method of reproduction is vegetative propagation. So this is exclusively seen in plants. So in the last types of asexual method of reproduction, where we saw in regeneration, budding and fragmentation, so parts of the plants, maybe that is in algae, the filaments may get attached, and in the regeneration in planaria, so the parts get segregated and develop into new individual, whereas in budding we saw in Hydra part of the body developing into bud and later it transforms into a new organisms. So all these are considered as animals, whereas in plants, so in vegetative propagation, part of the plants, that is stem, leaf or root, so from that a new plant will be arised. We know that so plants gives rise to new seedlings only by the propagation of seeds. So by the help of the seeds only the plants get germinated, so that we know earlier. But here in this vegetative propagation, so stem or leaf part may be taken and that can be grown into new plants. See, these methods are known as layering and grafting. See, what is this layering? So we have a set of plants, examples of the plants here: sugarcane, jasmine, rose, grapes, banana, orange, like this. So you take the example of jasmine. Here the stem of the jasmine is selected, so we may not take the root part of this, or we may not sow the seed of that jasmine. However, seeds are not seen in the jasmine plant, so the part of the jasmine shoot can be taken and it is bent and it is inserted into the soil, so that is called layering. So by layering method, so shoot part of the jasmine plant can be grown into a new plant. So similarly, grafting. See, what is grafting? See, for example, rose, or you take the or orange. So how this grafting is done? So part of the stem is taken and another part of the stem of a good fruit yielding plant can be taken, and the outer layer is taken out and both the stems are merged and tied with the help of plastic. So where you find both the shoots getting merged and to develop a new twig. So that part is taken, and if it is placed that inside the soil, it develops into a new plant. So that method of grafting can be considered as vegetative propagation. So the part of the plant like seed may not be taken here. Part of the plant like shoot or leaf or root can be taken to develop a new plant. Here sugarcane, jasmine, rose, grapes, banana and orange are some of the examples where we can grow new plants. See, these develop flowers and later they produce fruits also, like that of the plants which produce from seeds. Here bryophyllum and money plant are the two plants where the new plants can be arise with the help of the leaf. So bryophyllum leaf generates a small bud-like parts at the edge of the leaf, and when they are placed on the soil, so it can generate into a new plant. Like this we have seen money plant. So the part of the twig or a leaf can be placed in the water or soil, it generates into a new plant. See, this vegetative propagation is another important type of asexual method of reproduction, where we cannot find the flower as reproductive part here, where we consider only the shoot or the leaf part for growing a new plant. So the last type of asexual reproductive method given in your text is the spore formation. So where do you find this method? So this spore formation is seen in a case of fungal organisms. So we have the kingdom Mycota or fungi, where we see the example like Rhizopus. So Rhizopus is also called as bread mold. See, when you take a bread and keep that moist and kept in the room for 2 to 3 days, so later due to the moisture and environment, so that bread develops a filament like structures on that. So those filaments are of whitish in color, where on the tip of those filaments you find a black color structure which can be considered as blob-like structures. So here these filaments will be having blob-like structure. So upon that, so there will be minute spore-like things. So these are nothing but spores. So the bread develops the fungal growth, and these are called sporangia. So upon fully maturation, this sporangia bursts open and releases so many spores. So spores are tiny blob-like or microscopic structures. So these spores will be there in the air. So whenever there is a food or any moist conditions will be there, they will be placed on that, and upon favorable conditions those spores get generated or germinated. So germinate to develop new fungal filaments. So this is called spore formation. So far we learned nearly about 6 asexual methods of reproduction. So all these are very important from the view of examination. Here in the fission we learned the reproduction used by single organism. Here in fission we learned the process taking place in amoeba as well as in plasmodium. So in fragmentation, so we saw the example of Spirogyra, and regeneration is seen in Planaria and Hydra. So budding is seen in yeast and as well as Hydra. Then vegetative propagation is seen in a set of plants like rose, jasmine, banana, sugarcane, grapes, bryophyllum, money plant, etc. And in spore formation, so we learned the process being taking place in the bread mold, that is a fungi. So all these are observed in single organisms where we cannot find the differentiation of a male species or the female species. So coming to the another important type of reproduction, that is sexual mode of reproduction. So sexual mode of reproduction is one where there is involvement of male species and female species. Here male and female species are differentiated in case of plants as well as animals. So how do we consider plants as male or female? Here plants produce flowers which are considered as reproductory structures. Here the flowers may be considered as male flowers or female flowers. So even a very few plants like watermelon, so watermelon and papaya, so where the flowers can be differentiated into male flowers and female flowers. Except some of these few examples, all other angiosperm plants produce flowers. So both male and female parts of the flowers are seen in those. Here sexual mode of reproduction involves the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete. So what are those gametes in case of plants? See, plants produce flowers. Flowers have ovary. So inside the ovary we find the ovules which are considered as female gametes. Here the flowers also consist of the stamens. So stamens have the pollens in that. So pollens are considered as male gametes. So when we consider animals, so animal species, the female species also will be having ovaries. So inside the ovary egg will be formed, or we say that as ovum. Then in male species we find the testis, and in the testis, so those specialized gametes or the sex cells are called sperms. So here we will be knowing another important method of reproduction, that is sexual mode of reproduction. So far we learned all the asexual methods taking place in lower level organisms. See, all the higher level organisms, so as the evolution took place, so there was a considerable change from asexual method of reproduction to sexual mode of reproduction. So here there is one question. So a question will be arising, why the sexual mode of reproduction? So organisms shifted from asexual reproduction to sexual reproduction. So what is the advantage of this sexual mode of reproduction over to that of asexual method? So to know that, so here there is a very complex concept to understand. Here we have to know the two types of cell divisions taking place in the organisms. So in single organisms So we find a type of cell division, so which is called mitosis. See, mitosis is the one type of cell division where the cell will be having a genetic material in that. So all the lower organisms are made up of cells or specialized cells. So those specialized cells simply get divided where each newly formed cell will be having the same amount of genetic material as that of the mother cell. Daughter cells receive the same amount of genetic material. So the 2n, so n plus n is 2n. So the same amount of genetic material get transferred to the daughter cells. Whereas in another important cell division called meiosis, so this meiosis is very important in case of sexual mode of reproduction. So in all higher organisms, we find male species and female species where female reproductive system and male reproductive system is seen, and in those reproductive structures some specialized cells will be there. Like that of the body cells, same type of cell will be there, but will be having some specialized character. So this cell divides into two, and in the next step again divides into two cells, where at last we find 4 cells. Here 2n amount of genetic material get reduced to its half, so n and n. Here in the next step, so 4 daughter cells will be produced where genetic material is half the amount of that of the parental cell. So this meiotic cell division is very important in case of sexual mode of reproduction. See why this is having advantage over the asexual method of reproduction. So in any cases of cell division, so this genetic material has to get duplicated. So we learned that genetic material is nothing but DNA. So this DNA, as we learned in the last class, so it is having codes in that. So a part of DNA is called gene. So it will be having AT, GC, CG, TA, like this. Sequentially these nitrogenous bases will be arranged, and that part of DNA is called gene. So in case of lower organism where asexual method of reproduction takes place, so that DNA gets duplicated, so there is no much variation in that type of cell division. For example, one bacteria, so bacteria, it undergoes fission. So one bacteria divides to form 2 bacteria, means genetic material get divided by the process of mitosis. So there is no much amount of variation. So as we learn, what is variation? See, these codes will be sequential, and when the duplication takes place, so to this nitrogenous base A, another nitrogenous base, that is thymine, is synthesized, and for T, A is synthesized. So that duplication will not be so much, that duplication will not be having so much of difference in case of asexual method. Whereas in meiosis, so when the cells get duplicated to form the gametes, so we learned that egg and sperm are the gametes. Here the egg and sperm has to get united. So male species producing the sperm unites with the female gamete, that is egg. So at that time what happens? So the variations might have taken place in that egg or in that sperm. Upon fusion of that egg, so this is egg which is round in shape, so this is sperm which is elongated, having a tail. So when these get united, so whatever DNA variation has been took place in this egg, so will be there, and whatever variation that is there in the sperm will be there. So upon fusion of these gametes, male gamete and female gamete, so there will be accumulation of the different types of variations resulting in a new organism. So this resulted new organism will be having the variations from the mother, also will be having the variation from its father. So the newly individual will be having a novel character. That is what we find so many variations in case of sexual mode of reproduction. But the same type of variation is not seen in case of asexual method of reproduction. So sexual method of reproduction is having more advantage over asexual method only because of these variations. Maybe the newly born organism resembles the parent, but it will not be 100% similar to its parents. Some of the new characters also is seen in that newly formed organism because of these variations. So variations, as we have seen, will be taking place in case of DNA replication. So where we learned the DNA replication process in the last class. So we will be learning different types of sexual reproduction. So different types means in case of plants and in case of animals. So we will come to know how sexual method of reproduction takes place in higher plants. So we will learn about sexual mode of reproduction in plants. You are seeing the structure of a flower. A typical flower is having the female structure as well as the male structure. So all the angiosperm plants produces flowers, which is considered as reproductory structure. Here this is ovary, style and stigma. So together these three consist of the pistil. Here you are seeing the male structure, male part of the flower consisting of anther and the filament. This is anther, this is filament. Together it is considered as stamen. You consider a specialized cell from the ovary and a specialized cell from the anther. So here I have written a specialized cell, so which is undergoing the meiotic cell division. So meiotic cell division is the one where the cell undergoes reductional cell division. Here the nucleus having the genetic material, so upon cell division it transforms to form chromosomes. Suppose onion is having 2n number of chromosomes, means so it gets reduced to its half, that is n and n. So this is first step, and in the second step, so again these two cells get divided into 4 cells. So in a meiotic cell division, one cell gets divided to form 4 daughter cells. So these 4 daughter cells are nothing but gametes. Here ovules are called female gametes. So these gametes will be there in this region, that is ovary will be consisting of ovules as female gametes, whereas anther consists of pollens. So these are considered as ovules in case of female reproductory part and pollens. So when we consider the male part of the flower. So these ovules and anthers consisting of pollens will be there in the male and female reproductory parts. So ovules in female reproductory part and pollens in case of male reproductory parts. So these are nothing but pollens. So these are nothing but ovules. So which are the parts of the flower? We will be having a look at it. So these are sepal. This is the outermost whorl of the flower. So next to that, this is sepal. So sepal is the outermost whorl and petal is the second whorl. So which is very attractive in color. Makes the insects to get attracted towards the flower. So flower, sitting upon the flower, insects will be carrying the pollens from the other flower and help in a process called pollination. You know that there are two types of pollinations, self-pollination and cross-pollination. See, suppose a plant is having so many flowers, means a single flower producing the pollens will be transferred onto the stigma part of the same flower, means it is called self-pollination. And a plant having different flowers, so a pollen from one flower is transferred onto the another flower, so transferred onto the stigma part of the another flower, or that pollen transfers to the stigma part of the flower of a different plant. So then it is considered as cross-pollination. So this is the outermost whorl, sepal, the second whorl, that is petal, and the third is the male reproductory part, that is stamen, and the innermost whorl consists of the ovary. So ovary, style and stigma together constitute pistil. So this is about the structure of the flower. And whenever the flowers are generated in the plants, it is ready to undergo pollination. See, pollination may be taking place with the help of the wind, water, or insects, birds, animals. So what happens when the pollens, so upon the full maturation of this anther part, so pollens get burst out and they will be there in the air or in the water, or insects may sit on the flower and the pollens get stick to their legs and it will be transferred to the other flowers. So here you are seeing the pollen sitting on the stigma part of the flower. See, this pollen is having a nucleus in that. This pollen is having a nucleus in that, and that nucleus will be transferred across this pollen tube. Pollen grain generates a pollen tube, so that pollen tube will be reaching the ovary part here. So the base of the ovary, this is called micropyle, and the male germ cell, so that is nothing but nucleus from the pollen, will be transferred from this pollen tube and will be reaching the female germ cell. Here this is stigma part. Upon sitting on the pollen, the nucleus get attracted towards the ovary because of some secretion of some chemicals, and this nucleus will be transferred and will be united with the female germ cell with the help of the pollen tube. So here fertilization takes place. So male germ cell unites with the female germ cell. So this process is called fertilization. Upon fertilization, the pollen, nucleus of the pollen get fused with the nucleus of the ovule and it is called zygote. So zygote will be having continuously divided to form the embryo. Continuously get proliferated to form the embryo. So that embryo later develops a thick coat around that and develops into a seed. So that seed may be a monocot or dicot. You are seeing a flower of the dicot plant. So here all the dicot plants producing flowers changes to seeds. So those seeds are considered as dicotyledonous. Here you are seeing the two leaves of the dicot seed. So this seed, upon the placement on the soil, and it absorbs the moisture and it gets germinated. So this seed, when gets germinated, develops two parts here. So the uppermost part, so which is considered as plumule, and the lower part which is growing towards the soil is considered as radicle. So this is the future root. Radicle is the future root, whereas the plumule is the future shoot. So like this, sexual mode of reproduction takes place in plants. So in a plant which produces the flower, so flower consisting of the male and female parts, and respective to that they produce the ovules as the female gametes, pollens as the male gametes. Upon fertilization, so they develop into seeds, and seeds they get germinate to produce the new plants.